It's the dream of every cricketer, the ultimate glory. Few manage to keep their date with destiny. But for many, it's been heartbreaks and a cross to bear. The Holy Grail is here in India. I'm Rupha Ramani, and Firstpost brings you the ringside view. We bring you the Cup of Dreams. Cricket World Cup coverage like never before.
The champion!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net. Nice one. Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams.
I am Rupha Ramani and you're watching Firstpost. Now the excitement is building up in this country. It's going to be a supercharged weekend. So let's get started. Now it's a packed lineup coming your way again. After the manner in which the Indian cricket team decimated Sri Lanka last night, the focus has just shifted from the batters, who put up a humongous 350-plus total, to the brilliant pace unit that India boasts of in this tournament. Is the Indian pace unit the best in the tournament so far? We have an exclusive interview with one of the World Cup commentators who picks his best. And there is trouble brewing for Tiger Woods once again. No surprises when Woods has had enough brushes with controversy in his long, illustrious career. We tell you what is the new mess he's landed himself in this time. And why is Virat Kohli mania gripping Kolkata? The city of joy is getting ready to welcome the king when India gets ready to play South Africa this weekend. All of that on this show, but let's first take a look at all the headlines that's making the news in Sports 360. Starting with the ICC World Cup, Matt Henry has been ruled out of New Zealand's squad. This is due to a hamstring injury that he sustained during the match against South Africa. He will be replaced by Kyle Jamieson in the squad at the World Cup. New Zealand's next match is against Pakistan on Saturday. Owing to the alarming pollution levels in the country, England's cricketers have resorted to using inhalers as their woeful campaign continues. Ben Stokes was reportedly seen using an inhaler during a training session. This was before England's match against Sri Lanka in Bengaluru. Brazil forward Neymar has undergone a successful knee surgery. Neymar had ruptured his ACL during a World Cup qualifier between Brazil and Uruguay last month. According to medical officials, though, Neymar will take several months to recover and will not be seen in action till mid-2024. World number 7, Ons Jabeur, says she will donate part of her WTA Finals prize money to Palestinians in Gaza. The Tunisian says that the current situation in Gaza has really upset her. Jabeur clarified that she was not taking a political stance but was standing up for humanity. In hockey, India beat South Korea 5-0 at the Women's Asian Champions Trophy last night. Salima Tete scored twice for India. The other goals came from the sticks of Navneet Kaur, Vandana Kataria and Neha. India will face South Korea again in the semi-final on Saturday. Now, the Indian cricket team completely destroyed Sri Lanka in their World Cup match at the Wankhede last night. It was like the Asia Cup final repeating itself. India batted first and posted a mammoth 358 runs with key contributions in the form of half-centuries by Shubman, Gill at the top, Shreyas, Iyer and Virat Kohli. Then the pace unit completely pulled apart the Lankan batting lineup. There was absolutely zero resistance from the Lankans as Mohammad, Jasprit, Bumrah and Mohammad Shami dug in deep to bundle them out for a paltry 50-odd runs. With this win, India has also made it to the semi-final with 14 points. Where they finish in the top 4, that will take a while to determine. With this win, though, they also continue to remain unbeaten, which is a massive feat. If you look at every edition of the World Cup so far, only 2 countries have won the World Cup without losing a single match. West Indies in 1975, what an absolute terror of a side that was. The same, they repeated the feat in 1979. Australia did the unthinkable in 2003, where India reached that final and had to succumb to the Aussie batting power. Australia doubled that feat in the very next edition in 2007. But this win against Sri Lanka makes us ask the question, is the Indian pace unit the best in the World Cup? Earlier, it was Shea taking up the spot of that third seamer alongside Jasprit, Bumrah and Mohammad, who were the designated frontline bowlers, and they were winning matches even then. But the spinners came into play more so in the middle overs to further dent the opposition. But since the return of Mohammad Shami to the playing 11, this pace unit looks ominous and dangerous. If I look at the wickets taken by the pacers of each team, their top 3 bowlers that is, in the World Cup so far, here are the top 5 teams. South Africa's Marco Jansen, Kagiso Rabada and Gerald Coetzee lead the list, but barely. India is snapping at their heels with Bumrah and Shami's hauls making up for that number. Pakistan is right up there, 36 wickets shared between Shaheen, Haris Rauf and Hassan Ali. New Zealand's Matt Henry was the major contributor for New Zealand's 29 wickets by the pace unit, and he's picked up the injury, so the responsibility lies with Trent Boult now. Australia's Josh Hazlewood, Pat Cummins, Mitchell Starc not being as impactful as their pedigree in these conditions called for. So clearly on paper, with the kind of firepower that the Indian pace trio possesses, you have to admit they are the most lethal in this tournament. They at least look it. They have created impact in almost every match. And to think this was not the combination that India started the tournament with. Now, I caught up with one of the best observers of cricket and in fact one of the commentators at the World Cup, Simon Doull, to speak to us about the different pace units at the tournament and who, according to him then, is the best. We're joined by a former New Zealand cricketer and someone also who's pretty much the voice of world cricket at the moment. He's an expert commentator who is doing commentary at the World Cup, underway Cricket World Cup. Simon Doull joining me across from Bengaluru. It's nice to see you here, Simon. Welcome to Firstpost. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much. Nice to be with you.
Simon, first off, it's been an exciting World Cup. It started off a little, is this going to be what we expected of it? But it has really developed with some close matches, some upsets, some unexpected results and outcome as well, at least so far.
Yeah, we needed some close games after the first sort of week and a half, 2 weeks. It was looked a little bit like most of the games were going to be one-sided. What that was down to, I don't know. Sides aren't playing quite as much one-day international cricket as they have played in the previous years. They're playing a lot more T20, so maybe it was down to that. But they're sort of learning and getting better on the way through. Great to see some good results for Afghanistan, for the Netherlands as well. So I think the last couple of weeks has been pretty good.
The first question that we obviously have to ask you, Simon, and that's the point of this discussion really, is about the pace units of the various sides coming into this World Cup. We always pit the subcontinent conditions to be one conducive to spin, but going by all the tracks on offer, the pacers have really come into their own. How would you sort of set up the various pace units of the different teams, at least the top teams in this tournament so far? Who impressed you the most?
Well, India are a standout at the moment. They're relentless as far as their 3 seamers are concerned in particular. Now they've got Shami into the side, remembering that he's only played 3 games. They're at the top of the tree, I think. South Africa look very, very good with Jansen, Rabada, Ngidi and Coetzee to follow. And Australia look, pretty dangerous still. You can never underestimate what Australia do. I know they had a tough start to the tournament, but they've bounced back really nicely and they look like genuine semi-final contenders and probably still title contenders, I suppose. Apart from that, I think the next lot are a little way behind. New Zealand haven't been at their best. They've just lost Matt Henry, who was probably one of the better bowlers in the last couple of years from New Zealand's point of view. So, New Zealand and then Pakistan have probably been the next sort of the 4th and 5th ranked sides, if I could put it that way. But the top, I've got India on top, South Africa just behind, and then Australia just a little bit behind them.
What makes you peg or at least pin down India to be number 1? What part about their performance or what aspect of it has really impressed you the most, and how have they really delivered this particular tournament?
I said the word relentless, and I kind of think that's what they are. They just keep coming at you. Jasprit Bumrah has been unbelievable post that back operation, coming back into the side after the injury. He just gives you nothing inside that power play. If you get runs off him, you're very, very fortunate. He hits that beautiful line and length. He swings the ball both ways, which is key for him. And he's getting a little bit of movement. Siraj is quite an aggressive type bowler. He will use the bouncer really well. He's got the ones that go across the left-hander. He's kind of continued on his form from the Asia Cup, which has been impressive. And from the time that Shami has come into the side, he's just lifted. I think he's lifted that attack a little bit more. What's he picked up? A 5, a 4, and a 5, and has only 3 games to play. So I think he's just complemented that seam bowling attack, to elevate them probably to the best in the tournament so far. And you couple that with the spinners to follow. And if Hardik does come back as the 4th seamer, then I think it's got all the makings of, easily the best bowling side in the tournament.
Just a word on Mohammad Shami, just a little more, in fact, Simon. It's hard to think that he was not featuring in the 11 for the first few games. And the way he's just sort of come back and owned the space, incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is incredible. I think India were sort of a little bit obsessed with finding that all-rounder role again and playing Shardul, playing Ashwin. It just strikes me, when you've got 6 really good batters and Jadeja at 7, I think that's enough if you've got a high-quality bowling attack. And that's what they have now. In Shami, Bumrah and Siraj, with the 2 spinners, they have a high-quality bowling attack. If you have to worry about your number 8 getting you runs, then your top order and your middle order aren't doing their job. The fact that Shubman got runs last night, the fact that Shreyas got runs last night, kind of ticked those last 2 boxes from an Indian point of view. And Mohammad Shami, when you look at his numbers, they're absolutely phenomenal. He's gone past Zahir Khan. Zach took 23 games. And Shami's done it in 14. I think he's got 3 5-fers, 4 4-fers, and 4 3-fers or something like that in his World Cup career. He's missed out only once in 14 games. He had 1 no wickets against Australia in 1 game. He's got 2 1s and a 2, and everything else has been 3 or more in a World Cup. Look, it's just been an unbelievable performance. So I feel that they're more settled now. And he's forced the issue upon the Indian side, I think, that he just has to play. They play with 5 bowlers. When Hardik comes back, he probably replaces Surya at number 6, and then they've got a 6th bowler if they need it.
What has been, probably when I ask you about the pacers in this tournament on offer, Simon, what has been your most disappointing aspect when it comes to this particular bowling department or bowling aspect in this tournament?
I don't know whether it's disappointing. It's just the fact we haven't seen a lot of swing. I think that's probably the one concern for me. There's been a little bit of swing here and there, but we haven't seen a lot of swing. I think that's one of the disappointing things. I love seeing good swing bowling, but the pace and the bounce in some of the surfaces has been fantastic. We've seen good quick bowling. I mean, if you're going to have a disappointment, I say probably England's pace attack have been largely disappointing. Outside of 1 or 2 performances here and there, their pace attack, which came into the tournament highly regarded, has probably been quite disappointing from their point of view. That's one area they will look at as much as they look at their batting, I think.
Really, thank you so much for giving your time, Simon. I know you're busy, down-packed for the next few weeks. Hopefully we'll catch you again sometime soon. But thanks a lot and enjoy the rest of the tournament. Enjoy Bengaluru. Yeah,
thank you very much, Owl. I love Bengaluru, I love India, and it's just great to have a World Cup here.
Always a pleasure speaking to Simon Doull. Now, the World Cup is in its final stretch and the City of Joy is bracing for the mad dash. The entire city will be in celebration mode, not just because the Festival of Lights or Diwali is around the corner, but also to witness the match of the tournament, India versus South Africa. The top 2 teams of this year's World Cup will face off. And the stakes for the 2 have never been higher. South Africa's strategy in the tournament has been rather simple: to step onto the field and outbat the opposition. This was evident in 5 matches. India, on the other hand, is right now like a prototype of how cricket squads should be. Batters and bowlers equally running riot on the field. When it comes to head-to-head ODI record at the World Cups alone between the 2 sides, the Proteas hold the edge, but just ever so slightly, over India with 3 wins to 2. And in Eden Gardens, the Proteas have beaten the men in blue twice. So this will be a big test for India. But with the birthday boy landing in the City of Joy, it's chaos, mayhem, and utter mania. Something the city of Kolkata is all too familiar with.
It's going to be another intense battle royale this weekend. The venue, Eden Gardens in Kolkata, where India will take on South Africa for the 6th time in the history of the 50-over Cricket World Cup. A full house is expected at Eden Gardens on November 5th. What makes this clash more special is Virat Kohli's 35th birthday. It's on match day. To mark the occasion, the Cricket Association of Bengal plans to distribute 70,000 masks of King Kohli to the fans. The match will also be preceded with a cake-cutting ceremony. There'll also be a laser show along with a special fireworks display. Supporters are expected to flock to the venue chanting his name to cheer the ace batter, and they'll be expecting a grand show. The demand for the number 18 jersey which Kohli wears has skyrocketed since the Cricket World Cup started. Kohli narrowly missed out on his record-setting 49th ODI 100. It would have equalled the record set by Sachin Tendulkar. Kohli's missed out on this twice now, once against New Zealand and last night against Sri Lanka. So there's the expectation of him doing the incredible in front of a packed Eden Gardens. The iconic Eden Gardens started preparing itself for the tournament months before the World Cup started. In many ways, Kolkata and cricket are inseparable. There's a history of some of the best cricket matches played here, and it's also been infamous for the overzealous fervour crowds have shown in the past. So it's a potboiler waiting to happen. This, of course, will be India's first match of the World Cup at this venue. The stadium established itself in 1864 and is one of the oldest in the world. And post-renovation, it can now host about 60,000 spectators. The Cricket Association of Bengal, or the CAB, has also revamped it in all its glory with new dressing rooms, comfortable seats and theatrical lighting. India have lived up to their reputation of being a cricketing behemoth, and they're now up against a side who seem to be their toughest opposition in the World Cup so far. This is going to be India's last major test before they take on the Netherlands in the final group game on November 12th. As Kolkata makes the last few remaining touch-ups, the excitement for the electrifying clash has hit fever pitch.
And I will be there this weekend to get you the ringside view of the city gearing up for the face-off and how the two teams are preparing for the massive challenge in our coverage of the Cup of Dreams. A new high-tech golf league is soon going to tee off, and behind it are golf's two most elite names, Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. Now, if you have followed Tiger Woods' career and life in the public space, you would agree that he has been controversy's favorite child. From being in the middle of the storm regarding his affairs to getting into car accidents, he's undergone his fair share of trials and tribulations. Now Tiger Woods, a legendary golfer, and Rory McIlroy, who has had his own share of golfing success, have come together for a brand new venture that is already facing enough heat even before takeoff. Now, when I say new venture, I mean their version of new. Now, I'll explain. This project also has some of America's most renowned faces who have walked in with different sporting resumes to back this project. Steph Curry, the NBA star, the Williams sisters, the most prolific tennis siblings, are some of the big superstars who have decided to attach their stardom to this project. So what are Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy's grand plans then for this new venture? The plan is an indoor league that will be televised. The competition is in partnership with the PGA Tour, and the league will start on the 9th of January in 2024 at the Sophie Center at Palm Beach State College in Florida. The arena can host about 1,600 spectators. Now, the venue has a custom-built arena that is tech-infused, meaning it will have golf simulators with players hitting tee shots in a massive screen that is around 20 times larger than a standard screen. For shots lesser than 60 yards, golfers will switch from the screen to a game complex called the green zone. This green zone again harnesses technology with actuators and jacks, allowing the slope of each hole to be changed. So rather than using the usual courses and holes, it is a rather different experience. That all sounds super techy and fancy and great, except this venture has already attracted controversy before a proper tee-off. After PGA unveils the format of this league, questions and eyebrows were raised. There are many quarters that are claiming that this ambitious project is a rip-off and a complete copy of the LIV golf tournament. Here's what renowned golf writer Alan Shipnuck said. He said, and I quote, "A team-based breakaway league using an unorthodox format to court new and younger fans? Feels like I've heard this before." Now, there has been a heated debate on social media, with fans of the sport weighing in and calling the Woods-McIlroy Golf League a total copy of the LIV Golf Tournament. Now, just to give you a bit of a background, LIV Golf is a Saudi-based league tournament that was announced in 2021 and held its inaugural season a year later. The business tycoon Craig Norman ran the show, and this tournament has been financed by the Saudi Public Investment Fund. LIV is a team-based competition. Even though Tiger Woods and McIlroy's project is going to be played in an indoor setup, its format is also similar, with 6 teams set to feature in the inaugural season. And all of these teams have been sold to private owners. When LIV Golf was launched as an alternate to the PGA Tour, it sparked off a massive debate with a lot of questions raised about breaking away from the gentleman's game. It allowed more payouts and appearance fees for those involved in it. Even though the prize money of TGL is not known just yet, it is apparent that with the kind of names attached to the league, it won't be an underwhelming reward, and the elite names would look to claim those payouts. Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy have, of course, needless to say, vehemently opposed the notion of this being a plagiarized version of LIV Golf. Now, here's why this is strange and ironical. Tiger Woods, in fact, is known to have slammed the golf stars who, in fact, left to join the more lucrative LIV Golf, questioning their motive, and also expressed his loyalty towards the PGA Tour. Woods and Rory even went to the extent of asking the Saudi League CEO to shut shop and step down. Now, it was during that phase when the LIV Golf and PGA Tour merger was about to take place that Rory has famously known to say, and I quote, "If LIV Golf was the last place to play golf on earth, I would retire. That's how I feel about it." Now, many prominent golfers came out crying hoarse to stop this. One of them was multiple major championship winner, PGA Tour and Masters title winner Phil Mickelson, who later had to backtrack and toe the line.
I've really enjoyed my time on the PGA Tour. I've had some incredible experiences, some great memories, and I have a lot of strong opinions on things that should and could be a lot better. One of the mistakes I've made is voicing those publicly. So I will really make an effort to keep those conversations behind closed doors going forward. I think that's the way to be the most efficient and get the most out of it.
But the merger, of course, meant no course correction, and the players had to go ahead with this. So now Tiger Woods starting something which is rivaling the PGA Tour in some sense, seemingly along the same lines as the LIV Golf, which he himself strongly opposed back then, seems rather strange. Woods and Rory's animosity for LIV Golf had multiple reasons. One was the seemingly breaking away from the conforms of what golf has always been, an individual sport, not a team game. In many ways, he believed the league would disrupt traditional golf. Ironically, his own league is now emulating LIV Golf's approach. It would be pertinent to add here that just some months back, Tiger Woods agreed to join the tour policy board as a 6th player director. So it's very interesting that despite all this hue and cry months preceding that to bring down Saudi's LIV Golf tournament, Woods himself has decided to launch a clone. But the key takeaway here is the sport places players, superstars, really on a high pedestal, and for fans to come to terms with an act that seemingly is adverse to an image that the sporting achievements have created is sometimes hard to come to terms with. And that's what Tiger Woods, who has been in this very place so many times now, finds himself in once again. Now, we're almost wrapping up here, but before we leave, here's what we have for Last Serve. Playing sport is always more than just what happens on the field, on the court, or on the racetracks. It's what happens beyond that, and at the core of it is not what the sport gives you, but what you can give back to the sport that nurtured you. On Last Serve, we bring you the story of India's first female wrestling coach, Usha Sharma, who's doing all she can from beyond the playing field.
It feels nice to see that the same girls who used to graze cows and buffaloes, about whom no one cared, there are just 4 or 5 people behind them, their uncles, grandfathers, are asking about them. It was very satisfactory to see that they could make decisions for themselves and can now even drive.
That wraps it up here on First Sports. We hope you enjoyed this edition as much as we did. I'll of course catch you in the City of Joy over the weekend, where we will continue bringing our exclusive coverage of the Cricket World Cup only on the Cup of Dreams. For now though, take care. Bye-bye.